10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have RD-180 ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance 8 SPC-5 payload with the Atlas V launch vehicle for the United States Air Force.
Vehicle disturbances are as expected.
You're now hearing the voice of Rob Cannon providing launch vehicle ascent data. Let's listen in for mission progress.
Everything is looking good. That's 30 seconds into flight. Everything looks good.
湿湿的，因为水汽。
Flight control is nice and smooth.
现在都很平稳。哇，美国变好小，哈哈，看起来好小。
Operating parameters look good. Vehicle disturbances look good. Open loop steering has been active for a while. Looking just fine. Coming up on Mach 1. And OTV is now supersonic. Passing through max Q. Vehicle disturbances continue to be as expected. We have throttled down to 95% of rated thrust right on time. Body rates are smoothing out. Engine operating parameters continue to look good.
刚才已经 holding 15分钟了，没有15个小时6分钟。
Continue to operate at 95% rated thrust. 20 seconds to enabling steering. Vehicles flying normally. Engines operating good. And we're proceeding right down the center of the range track, right as expected. Coming up on steering enabled. And we've enabled steering. Vehicles maneuvering. We are now 25 miles in altitude, 15 miles downrange, traveling at 3,000 miles per hour. Parameters continue to look good. We're now throttling the engine to maintain a constant 2.5 Gs for payload fairing jettisons, and we fired the pyro valve, activating the reaction control system on the second stage. Everything's looking good. Continuing to maintain 2.5 Gs in preparation for fairing jettisons.
真的吗？是地球的边缘吗？
对啦，地球边缘外太空没有空气，所以你看到的火是黑色的。
Engine continues to throttle as expected to maintain 2.5 Gs.
哦，太神奇了！
Parameters looking good.
拍个照，拍个照。地球的边缘啊，这个是美国。哼，你从地面看，
才3
Coming
分
up
钟
on
而已。
payload fairing jettisons.
啊，我就跟你说音速哦。好酷哦。
Everything looking good. Getting ready for fairing. Good fairing set. And CFR deck has jettisoned as well. Engine is throttling back up. 80% rated thrust, right as expected. Vehicles operating normally. We've started boost phase chill down. We're now entering our constant 4.6 G acceleration phase in preparation.
没有，它那个，它这个下面的部分会跟它上面解体分开，这样的话，它才能再继续的前进。它有3节左右。
哎，没有。
Boost phase chill has terminated as expected. We're cut off. Booster engine cutoff coming up on staging.
解体了，解体了。
And we have stage separation.
哦。
Everything looking good.
地球的边，地球哎。
Yeah, pre-start on locks and fuel. Ignition, full thrust. The All 10 is up and running normally. Good start signature. Operating parameters, they all tend to look good.
哇，
机器在动。你看那个解体的部分就慢慢的掉下回地球了。
This is Atlas Mission Control at T plus 5 minutes and 1 second into the flight. We've just heard Rob Gannon report the successful execution of events comprising the early portion of today's mission, and all systems continue to operate nominally. With the mission underway, let's take a look at video highlighting the capability of the X-37B orbital test vehicle.
简
We have
介。
ignition.
你看它等一下解体会变成那个，这个是可以重新利用的。
This is the X-37B, the Boeing-built X-37B Orbital Test Vehicle, or OTV, continues to make history as the first unmanned vehicle to return from space and land on its own.
无人的，诶，没有，有了，有人。
X-37B provides a highly flexible demonstration testbed platform for a variety of orbital experimental missions.
The X-37B testbed platform is unique because we can tailor our missions to specific user needs and return experiments back for post-flight inspection.
Building on multiple missions, the OTV has proven a reliable fault-tolerant architecture through launch, flight, recovery, and refurbishment cycles. OTV Mission 1 validated the concept with 224 days on orbit. Mission 2 pushed the envelope to 469 days. And Mission 3 not only shattered the record with 674 days on orbit, but also demonstrated the ability to reuse an X-37B flight vehicle.
他已经
These
参与
missions
过
have
太
proven
空
the
了。
reliability and flexibility of the system to support a variety of experiments.
The X-37B offers a consistent and repeatable test platform in the space and hypersonic entry environments. As a reusable system, hosted experiments can be inspected, modified, and flown again at dramatically reduced cost.
Leveraging the existing X-37B infrastructure and reusing the platform allows users to focus their investment on the experiment and developing new technologies.
Responsive to rapid integration, the X-37B can fly and test multiple new technologies, reduce technical risk early in product design, and validate system performance. Integrated experiments leverage onboard power, telemetry, orbital maneuvering, thermal and attitude control to enhance test parameters.
The partnership between Boeing, Space Florida, NASA, and the Air Force is establishing a capability for the X-37B to launch, land, and process for reflight at Cape Canaveral. This will further reduce cycle time, providing even more responsive access to space.
Ready to fly tomorrow's next-generation space-based technologies, today's X-37B enables affordable access to orbit.
The reliability, reusability, and responsiveness of the X-37B will fundamentally change how we perform future space missions.
As I mentioned earlier, in addition to OTV-4, today's flight includes 10
CEO.
CubeSats. One of those CubeSats is LightSail,
我超喜欢他的。
developed by the Planetary Society. And I'm pleased to welcome Planetary Society CEO and science guy, Bill Nye.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here.
Well, Bill, thanks so much for joining me. It's a thrill and an honor to meet you.
We're in the control center, for crying out loud. How cool is this?
Doesn't get much better.
Do we call this mission control?
Absolutely.
It's cool.
Okay. The Planetary Society has a CubeSat named LightSail on today's mission. Now, would you give us a quick overview of the project?
Yeah, so this may surprise you, us, anybody, but light has momentum, even though it has no mass. So if you can get, I mean, it's even when we're sitting here and light's hitting us, impinging upon us, we are getting a tiny, tiny, tiny push from the photons. Well, if you're out in space where there's nothing to stop you, and you have a big enough object, big enough sail in this case, and a low enough mass spacecraft, it gets pushed. And so Carl Sagan, my old professor, talked about this in 1976. They wanted to have a mission to catch up with Comet Halley, Halley's Comet. And that mission was canceled in exchange for the space shuttle. I guess there were some other technical problems. But the guys involved were Carl Sagan, Lou Friedman, my predecessor at the Planetary Society, and Bruce Murray, who was the head of the Jet Propulsion Lab at that time. and they wanted to have a solar sail to prove that the technology would work. It's one thing to sit in physics class and show that this should be possible, but it's another to really do it. As Tex Johnston, the test pilot on the Boeing 707, said, "One test is worth 1,000 expert opinions." So those three guys started the Planetary Society in 1980. I joined. I've been a member ever since. And then I joined the board in 1997, and everybody has been talking about a solar sail since then. I mean, since 1976, people have talked about solar sails. And so the Planetary Society got some funders, especially Andrean from the Carl Sagan's estate, Andrean's Carl Sagan's widow, from his estate, and we tried to fly in 2005, Cosmos 1, but it ended up in the drink. It's in the Barents Sea, somewhere in the Arctic Ocean. And so 10 more years have gone by, and we've rekindled the idea and embraced the standard called CubeSat, which is just 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 10, but ours is a 3-unit CubeSat, so it's 10 by 10 by 30 centimeters, smaller than a shoebox, everybody. And then the sail that will come out of it is the super shiny mylar. And another just sort of surprising thing until you think about it, if it's shiny, specular, like a mirror, the photon bounces off going this way, it goes back that way, so you get twice as much momentum as if it were black, fully absorbent, black body, what have you. So it's just like, you're kidding, like that's going to work. So this, out of this little box, these really cool, really wonderful material. It's high cobalt steel, which was manufactured at the Air Force Research Lab at Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico. These things come out 4.7 meters, and the sail then is 32 square meters. I mean, it's an enormous thing with this little, less than 10 kilo CubeSat, and so we're very hopeful that the thing will deploy properly, sunlight will hit it, and get a push. Now, this mission, and I love you all, of course, at Atlas V land, but it's not going especially high, so we're going to get dragged down by the atmosphere pretty quickly. But this is a test flight. There's two things that we really want to verify: telemetry with the ground, which includes pictures from our cameras. We have really elegant cameras built by Aerospace Corporation, and we want to see the sails deploy, because if you're scoring along